habit of being slaved. The people were mentally slave. They were physically slave. They were in habit of being dictated. They never exercised the right of democracy. They were never exposed to the right of democracy. They were never exposed to democratic system. They were never exposed to the right of freedom. They were never exposed to the right of expression. They were never exposed to such rights. They were slaved, and for the centuries there. And different people, different groups, different sects, different small states and kingdoms, they were ruling those people. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came and he gave them an idea of democracy. He gave them an idea of a proper institution, proper constitution, proper state. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave them an idea that nobody is slave, everybody is equal, everybody have a right to exercise their democracy, everybody has a right to exercise the right of freedom, everybody has a right to exercise the right of giving opinion, everybody has a right to exercise the right of expression. So that was the first time when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam spoke and gave this idea and model to the masses. So when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam left us physically, so if suddenly people ask, no, so the first appointment should be a proper democratic one. So I ask them here, how it is possible if somebody has no experience of doing anything and you suddenly give them, maybe if somebody doesn't know how to operate a computer, and you quickly get a one good quality expensive computer and give them into their hands and then ask them, okay, now operate it. They will never operate it, they will destroy it because they don't know how to operate it. That's why I am saying that is an evolutionary process. In the first time frame of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, they learned how to exercise the democracy. Then in the ruling period of Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, they became more mature in political exercise. They became bit mature in democratic values. They become bit mature in institutions. They had more institution in the time of Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. When the time of Sayyidina Usman Ghani radiyallahu ta'ala anhu came, that was the time when the citizens of Madinatul Munawwara and citizens of Islamic State, they were much more mature to take their own decisions, to analyze the candidates. That's why they were given the right, and the first system was the presidential system in the time of Sayyidina Usman Ghani radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. And by the time of Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, the people of the state of Islam, they were much more mature in their democratic values. That's why they were given the model of a parliamentary system. So it is an evolutionary process. It is not just the political system. If we study Islam, each and everything, every model related to Islamic religion is evolutionary. Even the wahi of Allah Almighty, which was on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even the ahkam given to Muslim Ummah, even the prohibitions came on Muslim Ummah, even the rights and everything, each and everything was evolutionary. That was coming according to the needs and desires. Islam was never the religion, suddenly somebody came down from the mountain with the 10 commandments in their hand. And each and everything is pre-written there and that has been given to the people. Now follow it. No, Islam was never like that. Islam is the beauty of Islamic religion, the beauty of Islamic model, the beauty of Islamic system is that each and everything came from Allah Almighty in the form of ahkam and command whenever that was needed. When any circumstances or condition or situation emerged, Allah Almighty sent His wahi. So that was according to the demand and desire of the society, of what kind of problem the society was facing. That's how the Allah Almighty used to answer those problems. So that is the beauty of Islamic model. It was never pre-written. That tells us how practical Islamic religion is, how practical the models provided by Islam is. Because they always come, those models were always made in practical shape. Whenever they were needed to deal with the practical problem existing in the society, that was the time when the wahi came or any model emerged or any ahkam came. So this is the practicality and beauty of Islamic religion and preachings given by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then discussing the democratic values of Islam. Now we see, and many people they ask that if the Islamic model is a successful model, Islamic political model was a successful model, then what happened after the first 4 Khulafai Rashidin or the first 5 Khulafai Rashidin? What happened to the civilization? What happened to the Islamic model? What happened to the democracy? And some people even, they don't hesitate to say it, that we cannot narrate or mention any example after the first 36 years of Islam. They even don't hesitate to say it because we don't see any good example. But that's not true. If you see any civilization, as I have mentioned earlier, if you see the Western democratic system or a political system, you find it in different places, they are being exercised in a different way. Because this is impossible that because it's a different mentality and mindset of people related to a different regions. They live in a different way, they have a different culture, some are more illiterate, some are less illiterate. They can exercise more democracy, some can't exercise that much ratio of democracy. So the models can vary everywhere. And then there was expansions were going on still. The democratic system sometimes become hurdle in the way of in the expansion and that kind of spread which was going on in those days for the Islamic Riyasa. So there was a reason, but what I say here, when we see the history of Islamic political system and governance, will not say that after the 36.5 years of Khulafai Rashidin, the soul of democracy was eliminated from the rest of the civilization, the Muslim civilization. No, I will never say it. There was still a soul of democracy, the values of democracy, but you can say it on low profile. And in different regions that democracy was exercised in a different way, in a different manner. But you can't say it, the Islamic democratic values were eliminated after the first 36.5 years of Khulafai Rashidin. They were being exercised, they were Mulukiya, different groups, different families were ruling, but still the Khalifa, the king or whatever, the Malik, he was used to call him Khalifatul Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam still, and still there was a concept of the bay'at in the hand of the Khalifatul Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we even find 12 and more than 12 events in the civilization, in the history of Muslim political systems and governance, that the Khalifa was appointed by his father, and people declined and they rejected. And they didn't do bath in his hand, and that Khalifa was removed from his place. We have more than 12 examples in political history of Islam. So, it is not that the democratic soul was 100% eliminated. That was with part and parcel. Somewhere it was more exercised, somewhere it was less exercised, but still it was there. And as I have mentioned, it is impossible with any model. For example, we see the communism. The communistic model was different in Russia than China. Now even China still calls them a communist state, but you will find a much more democratic values back there now. Similarly, the Western democracy, as I have mentioned, so it varies according to the religion. What we need to do, we need to have a confidence in our own civilization, in our own tradition, in our own history. If we start criticizing, it is good to criticize your own history. That's how you improve. But if you just stand on denial and whatever we just try to link our knowledge through the Western historians, that's how we are misguided. That's how we misunderstand our civilizations, our political and economic models. That's how we misunderstand. So what we need here, we have to go through and study our civilization, our political models, our economic models, our other social models related to the governance and all other things. We have to study them in comparative study. We can study whatever has been mentioned through Western historians, but we also need to study them through Islamic historians.